Why are you looking at me for?
I'm not looking at you like that. We had an amazing stretch that we watched movies with my mom. Two movies in particular. The first one was Animal House. Had an amazing actor, John Belushi, in it. Shout out to him, like in his
Well, see, we watched the Blues Brothers first.
right. And I don't really think he got into Blues Brothers that much, but it was
I
national.
wasn't at first because I was preoccupied trying to play my game, but there was a lot of it. I'm like, okay, I like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. Because you took two riffraffs, basically. You took two criminals and they wanted to save. What did they want to save? Was it a school or a
It was like an
church
orphanage or something. Yeah,
yeah?
where they grew up.
And I'm just like, okay, so these are some bad guys trying to do some good things with some bad people, and I'm just like, or some bad ways. And the lady, she's like, I don't want your dirty money.
Right, and the way that the doors, how she went back and the doors closed and shit, that shit
Yeah.
was kind of crazy.
Yep. And I'm just like, oh snap. But it's like, if you're trying to save something, I get it. You do it however you have to. But at the same time, I respect her for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
What's going on, everybody? This your boy King Germ, one half of Pod and Saved Our Marriage. Each and every Friday, Queen Germ and myself drop an episode to show the people how Pod and Saved Our Marriage. Now, we're not like most married couples. Most of the time we disagree, but that's the beauty of the show. So, when you get through listening to Sparrows UnderReview, come give us a listen. Each and every Friday on any DSP, go look for Pod and Saved Our Marriage.
Whoa. The Blues Brothers. Now, this is one movie I grew up with. My mom would play this shit religiously.
Probably because of, like you said in the last episode, Mr.
John Belushi.
John Belushi.
Yeah, I think she had a thing for him on the low.
We're going to have to call her and ask her that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to ask her about that. Now, this comes from Saturday Night Live. This was a sketch, and everybody's watched Saturday Night Live, so one thing you do have to understand, if you don't know this younger audience, John Belushi was at the very beginning of Saturday Night Live, which you can watch the new Saturday Night Live movie, which we haven't watched yet, Saturday Night Lights or whatever the fuck it's called. And you can, I mean, I don't know what it's called. Y'all know I'm doing the best I can.
You ain't got to be so harsh about it. Dang.
Yeah, but either way, this movie, like for me, it was weird how we came about watching it. Because I had talked to my mom. I was like, yo, are we going to watch the 5 Heartbeats?
Mm-hmm.
Are we watching Blues Brothers? I almost said Blues Clues. Are we watching Caddyshack? Or are we watching Animal House? She was like, we watching the Blues Brothers.
Yep. That was the first one. She said, put that Blues Brothers on.
And this movie, what I liked about it is, like, this movie was funky. It had soul in it. It had James Brown in it, Cab Calloway, Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, and John Lee Hooker.
Mm-hmm. I liked that there was musical parts in it, but it wasn't a musical.
Right. It was music for a little bit, and then it was done. That's how I wanted Snow White to be done.
Right. Make it good, make it to the point, but get over that part.
And one thing, Carrie Fisher, I want to give her a huge shout out. The late, great Carrie Fisher, off of Princess Leia's success. She comes in this movie, and she is Jake's ex-girlfriend or something, because she was blowing up buildings, trying to kill him, and they never knew until the end. And so one shout out there. And I mean, this movie covered all kinds of stuff: neo-Nazis, country, Western bands, Roman Catholics, R&B music. It had every genre and it had everybody in it. It was a feel-good movie for me because it didn't matter if you were black or white or Albanian, whatever you were in this movie. And this movie, to me, was another one of those hidden success for them. And the story that goes along with this, but once again, this is a good story. It was written by Dan Aykroyd, which we all know Dan Aykroyd, and John Landis. We've already spoken about him in the previous episode from here, the director. This comedy, like, it made sense how everything played out. So let's get into a bit about our characters. Do you want to talk a little bit about the characters, or do you want me to go ahead?
You can go ahead. I was on the wrong page.
All right, look, we got Jake Blues or Juliet, that's played by John Belushi, and then you have his brother Elwood. Now, Elwood, he's just Elwood. And what I liked about Elwood was a person not of many words.
Right.
And when he pulls up to get John Belushi or Jake out of prison or jail, wherever he's at, they hop into a piece of crap cop car. And this is the first scene you're getting, like the first 5 minutes of this movie. And, you know, Jake is like, what happened to the Cadillac or some bullshit? And,
Right.
and next thing you know, he's going, like, Dan Aykroyd has to let him know that this Crown Victoria does not play games. That vehicle, it was a Crown Vic, and it was one of those old ones. I'm talking about the big body ones. You could have put a whole family, the whole extended family in that bitch. And what happened? What was the sequence that happened with the vehicle so he could show him that it was tough?
All right, let's see.
The bridge?
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. That was a very...
They jumped the bridge, right?
Yeah, they jumped the bridge.
You got to remember, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the first part of the movie because, it was an old film. I'm like, I ain't gonna like this shit. I'm here and your mom wants to watch it, so I'm just gonna let it play or whatever. And it was getting into it and parts of it that I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of funny.
So you go a little bit further. They go to the Catholic orphanage or wherever they were raised, and that lady takes a ruler and she smacks the shit out of both of them. She smacks them so hard with that ruler that they fall down the stairs inside of a desk. They're in the little desk we grew up in as kids, and they fell down the stairs. And then when they get down to the bottom of the stairs, they're met by Cab Calloway, who is someone that gives them a little bit of advice. They tell them to go down to a church that's ran by James Brown. And next thing you know, when you go to James Brown's church, the choir and everybody else were jumping around and doing all kinds of flips and stuff. It looked like somebody was on a trampoline and doing like cartwheels and all kinds of shit and backwards flips. And things get crazy there. And then that's where the movie just spirals out of control. And that's what I liked about this one. Like, this movie was off the rails.
It was so chaotic. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it was an enjoyable crazy. So once they got out and they found out that he had an epiphany, they said, and he's like, we can get the band back together and raise the $5,000 to pay the property taxes on the orphanage. Because did they grow up there? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood all of that. So basically, like JR said, there is a lot of stuff that happens in the movie really fastly. Really fast? Very fast?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't do proper English. But it's another one of those ones where we don't want to go into too much detail about it because it takes the surprise. But as far as a gig, they finally get one supposedly and all this stuff. They go, they perform, stuff happens afterwards. The two of them are like, all right, y'all better run. Get out of here.
And that's when things get wild. And like I said, like with this one here, I was just like, wow. So this is another film that I'd say like you should definitely go see. Once again, John Belushi had a very, very short career.
Right. And where can people find that? Let me look that up here while you continue with John Belushi. Tell him about his demise.
He was killed by a hot box, an injection of heroin and cocaine. A lethal dosage of that.
That's crazy.
And one thing in particular that I'll say about this, this movie had Pee Wee Herman in it, and I didn't even know that. I'm looking at just other minor appearances and different things like that.
You might have to buy it. I'm seeing, which I'm not clicking on any of these links, but it says AMC subscription or AMC Plus subscription, YouTube, the Roku channel, Amazon Prime, Apple TV. It does say Sling with the premium subscription. And obviously Google Play Movies and Fandango at home.
That's kind of crazy. So it's not available for any type of
free service.
What about Animal House?
Let me see. Where can you watch Animal House?
Because one thing I will say about some of these films where they're
Same thing.
yeah,
Prime, Google Play, Fandango, Apple TV, Roku. So, like, it's not available as far as we know on something like Peacock, Hulu, Netflix, Paramount, the normal subscriptions everybody has or has access to.
and
I don't know. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I thought there was good humor in it. It took place in Chicago. I think that they did very well with it. Let's see.
and since this movie is considered a musical, it's the 9th highest grossing musical and the 10th highest earning among comedy road movies. And it ranks.
Did you hear that?
What?
The growling noise.
Yeah. What was that?
My stomach.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry too. So it's considered one of the best. It won a Golden Reel Award for best sound and editing. I will say this for this movie.
This is a rough movie.
What? Oh, about all his partying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said my man was out
the
there.
production began falling behind schedule. Much of the delay was due to Belushi's partying and carousing.
And people gave him cocaine anytime they seen him.
When not on set, he went out to his familiar Chicago haunts, such as blah, blah, blah.
I think I'll say Wrigley Field. Like
I wasn't going to mention those names.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that's like I forgot the Sox or the Cubs because they got that's one thing about Chicago, they do have 2 baseball teams, which is wild.
Right, and it says people often recognized him and slipped him cocaine, a drug he was already using heavily on his own, hoping to use it with him.
Wow.
Every blue collar Joe wants his John Belushi story.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then that was said by Smokey Wendell, who was eventually hired to keep it away from the star.
Oh, wow. So I'll say this, like, when I got into watching late night cinema and things like that, like going to theaters that would show stuff late at night, this was one of those movies that encouraged late night cinema, not pornography or anything like that, but just like people going to watch movies late at night.
Yeah.
So, I will say, like, this movie right here, like, it was great. It was one of those things that that I don't know. And this was one of the movies that made more money overseas than it did in the United States. That's one thing that was kind of crazy about this. And this movie, like, when I talk about cult classics, this is considered a cult classic. Even though its money that it made is relatively good, it didn't do nothing like Animal House. But in comparison to other movies of its time, what were the numbers, Stacey?
Let's see. The budget was $27.5 million, and the box office was $115.2 million. And I'd say a lot of that budget was due to. That's one thing I need to understand. When they say budget, is that say, hey, I'm going to give you $1,000 to make this movie, no matter whether it costs them $1,000 or $10,000, or is that here is how much it costs to make the movie compared to how much they made?
Yeah, the budget is just like, hey, this is what it costs at the very end to make it.
Okay, in the Wikipedia stance, yeah. So I'd say a lot of that was due to Belushi's drug habit.
And
because he caused a lot of delays in filming.
And one thing about this, in 2020, the Blues Brothers film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress. Cultural, historical, and aesthetical significance of that time. So, the one thing I want to put on the crowning moment for John Belushi as an actor is obviously, like, he and he was friends with a person you know, and you grew up in his time frame. He was that generation's Robin Williams.
Okay.
And him and Robin Williams come from the same comedy troupe because they were
Gotcha.
friends. So it's almost like I kind of feel that he has that Robin Williams approach in these two films that got this notoriety from the Library of Congress, and it's hard to be a film on the National Film Registry, just like it is for a national park.
Right.
So I want to say this: like these two films in particular, Animal House and Blues Brothers, should definitely be something you go see or watch.
Right.
You're gonna have to buy it because it ain't no, or rent it because it ain't no in between on that.
Steven Spielberg was in there.
What?
Yeah. Shaka Khan.
Yeah, I seen Shaka Khan in there. Remember I yelled that was she was in there.
Oh, I didn't know.
She was one of the ladies in the choir.
Okay. So I think that's about as much as we can put into this episode, to be honest.
Because I don't want to mess up the experience for anybody.
Right. So I highly encourage everybody to go watch it however you obtain your movies. If you've seen it before, let us know in the comments what you thought of it. And if you knew all of the drug use that was going on, because I didn't know all of that when I watched it. I don't find all that stuff out until I get on Wikipedia and read the background or wait for JR to tell me what he thinks. We want to take the time to thank everybody for hanging in with us. If you don't mind, give us a follow, a like, comment. We are on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. If you can head on over to those and give us a follow there.
And on that note, we're gone.